York Enforcers 1, the California Quakes yet to get on the scoreboard, but we're only 2 jams into this one. The women are on the track, and if you just joined us, some very heated exchanges between the Bod Squad and members of the Sisters of Suffering who came out and mimicked them at the beginning of the game. And I'll tell you, you've got to give the Sisters of Suffering an A for ingenuity. And right now we've got the 2 quickest girls for their respective teams. Amy Craig, number 30, runs into the top of the rail. The added shove from Heather Gunnan. A lot of people have questioned Gunnan's play as of late. It seems to have taken on an almost dirty, almost sinister style. A lot of people are saying she is out to injure as many of the other quick skaters in the league as possible. Now that's Shelley Rossell dropping back. Remember, Rossell has not left the pack. A whip from Rossell to Gunnan, and the California Quakes trying to pull away. And a block by Karen Magnuson. The gate set. She slows one. She slows down Cindy Zimmerman. Heather Gunnan. Now Brooke Sunderman goes down. Gunnan picking up 3 points, closing in on Stacy Blitz. She goes by Stacy Blitz. And a great jam by Heather Gunnan and the New York Enforcers. The Quakes tried to pull away for naught as Gunnan applauds herself, picking up 4 points, and Amy Craig taking exception with having her head run into the rail.
Well, this might be a little retaliation for what happened at the beginning of the jam, but Ken, why do you do a pull away with Heather Gunnan as the jammer? She and Debbie Rice, arguably, depending on who you like, is the fastest jammer in the World Skating League. I think that Sean Atkinson's problem with his teammates is leaves this team without a head. Obviously, he's calling the shot. Does not call the right shot because you don't do a pull away against Heather Gunnan.
You're exactly right. You really have to question the strategy of the Quakes. And now you've got a double whip springing free. Heather Sunderman with those long loping strides, but staying with her right now is Edie Bowman. But Sunderman using that higher center of gravity sends Bowman into the rail. Very smart move by Heather Sunderman, having a tremendous height advantage over Bowman, who's 5'4", while Sunderman is 5'7", and she used it perfectly, sending Bowman into the top of the rail. It is 5-0 Enforcers, but it looks, for all intents and purposes, as Heather Sunderman having a great opportunity to finally break 3 scoreless jams against the Quakes. And look at the move by the California Quakes, a somersault from Heather Sunderman. The pull-away may not have worked the first time, but this pull down of the entire pack of the Enforcers works to perfection as Heather Sunderman picks up 4 big points. Great job by the entire California Quake team.
Well, I think the impetus of that was actually Janet Abraham, Ken. It looked like she and Stacy Blitz were getting into her on the back straightaway, and they went down. And, of course, when Janet Abraham goes down, everybody goes down. And Heather Sunderman, a very observant Heather Sunderman, took advantage and picked up some badly needed points.
And a big double whip by Linda Leisure springs free. This is once again Heather Gunnan along with Amy Craig. They have battled it out so far. Buddy, what do you look for when you get 2 speedy jammers like this out together?
Watching for them to follow the groove, low in the turns, high in the straightaway. You're watching for those low blocks. And the other thing with these 2 bent-over type styles, you're looking for foot action, which means little tipping.
Well, buddy, you timed it absolutely perfect. Gunnan stuck the leg out. The 2 tripped over one another. Amy Craig, the first to get up, and now they both readjust their helmets as they come around. Smart rules. Remember, WSL rules. It's a referee's discretion. If a jammer helmet comes off, they can call it off at any time. Both jammers feeling they had a chance to score, readjust their helmets. Now you see a triple block being set up by the Sisters of Suffering, and Stacy Blitz and one of the other California Quakes go through and take it away. And both down comes the wall. Janet Abraham and Stacy Blitz are going at it. It's all broken loose. The referees are separating. Let's go to roller rules.
I'm Sean Corbin, head official of the World Skating League. If you think my job is easy, think again. When the game is going, I have to keep my eyes focused for everything. In this game, the Florida Sundogs are down by 2 when Bill Barker goes out for the final jam. He passes 4 blockers, scoring what appeared to be the winning points. But if you back it up, you'll see that even though the jam clock has 8 seconds, the game clock has run out. What would you do if you were me? If you want to be right, you'd give Florida the points. No matter what the game clock says, the final jam goes the entire 60 seconds. Now you know the rules.
We'll be back with more.
What does it take to win?
It's the New York Enforcers out in front over the California Quakes by a score of 5-4. Sean Atkinson seemingly putting his future on the line, and right now he's 1 point short of staying with the California Quakes. Hawk, the first period, very physical, but that's what we expect when the Enforcers are around.
We expect that from the Enforcers, and as Buddy Atkinson Jr. said, we expect speed, speed, speed from the California Quakes. And in that first period for the women, we saw both. We saw Amy Craig and Heather Gunnan, the two fastest skaters in the world skating. There are two of them, and Heather Gunnan may have got the best there, but Amy Craig always has something to say later, Ken.
Okay, I'm here. Well, I'm not even sure who I'm here with. Are you guys the fraud squad? Who are you supposed to be?
Hello, my name's Jamie Conemack, and I don't have a brain and can't skate.
Oh, my. And oh, I know who you are.
Hi, I'm Stacy Butch, and I have to buy my character.
Oh, my. And that means you must be Cindy Zimmerman, Shelley.
That's right, I'm Cindy Zimmerman.
What's the big idea? Why'd you guys do this?
Because evidently we were just doing it as a joke, but it got under their skin. They're falling apart. Look at them.
Which doesn't, you're not seeing, if you see the Quakes, they are falling apart. Back to you, Ken and Hawk.
I give the Sisters of Suffering some credit. They usually use physical intimidation. This time they went to the mind games, and they are winning the battle. Starting for the California Quakes, Captain Sean Atkinson, along with Rusty Montgomery, Chad Vaughn, Gary Lockerby, and Mark James. For the New York Enforcers, the five-borough lineup: Mark D'Amato, Tim Washington, Brian Gamble, John Morrissey, and closing it out, Dan Gavani as they move up to the starting line. The way we begin every period here in the World Skating League. Mark James on the inside takes the elbow from Dan Gavani, and coming out number 20 is Gary Lockerby. It's Lockerby and Dan Gavani. Smart move by Lockerby. Saw Mark James stumble, went right around it. Now Lockerby and Gavani in this very tight game. We've got a 5-4 matchup as we come around, and down goes Lockerby. Dan Gavani in the lead now, 5'10" on 210 out of Staten Island, one of the five-borough lineup. Gavani not very pretty to look at, not a very graceful skater, but he does one thing, and that's generally get the job done. And the big elbow from Captain Sean Atkinson is brought back, and again we've talked about the problems with the Quake. You see Atkinson, the only Quake, dropping back, getting absolutely no help from his teammates. Now he sends Gavani over the railing and sets and strikes out Tim Washington. There's no scoring coming up here. This is just pure physical. And Washington sends Atkinson right into the big elbow from Mark D'Amato.
Well, it could have been a lot worse, Ken. That shows a little bit of the versatility, experience, and just downright heads-up play. And Sean Atkinson, the boot was ready. Tim Washington running it into the boot of Mark D'Amato. Sean Atkinson avoided a really ugly play, although he did take a pounding there.
And now you see Rusty Montgomery, D'Amato right at the front along with Brian Gamble as the Enforcers doing a good job of preventing the Quakes from getting out, but now finally coming out for